Hi, my name is Mike Bell.
Hi, Mike.
Hiya.
How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah. It's raining, but
Oh
I've
no,
had a nice breakfast.
that's all right. That makes the
Yeah,
day okay. Breakfast makes everything all right.
yeah. I've had my oatmeal latte. I've been converted to from
Oh
soya.
wow,
So
crikey!
yeah, gosh.
That sounds incredibly healthy.
Well, I'm being very good about the diet. I'm being very, very good. I've lost a little bit of weight, which I needed to do.
I was going to say that I thought you'd
Uh,
lost weight, but I wasn't sure whether just Skype was
no, Skype makes me look thin anyway. It's this added feature I've got added in. So
the filter.
yeah.
Amazing. I need that one. So, can you tell me a little bit about your diagnosis, please, if that's okay?
Yeah, gosh, I haven't talked about this for a while actually. About 4 years ago, I think I was properly diagnosed. Leading up to that, which is the usual story, I was suffering from slight tremor, discomfort, pain, a lot of depression,
Mm.
uh, and we'd gone through various ranges of consultant. I paid privately at one stage for a neurologist who wanted more tests, which I couldn't afford. But we were bounced around between. I've had every test under the sun. I think I've had my heart checked, my head checked, everything checked. And then, apart from having the one consultant who wasn't a neurologist, but who was to do with other stuff, suggested I just took up skiing. That was all my problem.
Seriously?
So seriously, yeah.
Wow.
So obviously, I've never skied in my life, so I don't want to start now because it could go horribly wrong.
No.
And it's diagnosis came. Kind of, they threw every single drug at me as usual. I don't know if that's usual, but I was throwing every drug out to see what stuck. And I just ended up with this cocktail of drugs, which didn't seem to be doing. I mean, it confirmed the Parkinson's. Didn't so much. Some of them worked, but others just made me feel even more unwell. I ended up taking drugs because I was feeling unwell. So in the past couple of years, I've been reducing drugs because they're not ultimately very necessary, and also because of the long-term side effects. I'm conscious of those.
Yeah.
So I'm on antidepressants, and I'm on. I was on levodopa. I was on a agonist. But at the moment, I'm not taking any drugs. But I've got the aspect of it which I really hate is the pain. I've got issues of pain throughout my body and rigidity. So it might be time to try some drugs that might work. But it's finding the right mix, isn't it? And that's the difficulty.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's been times where I think everyone goes through this phase as well when you kind of start taking medication that you really, really hate the medication. You go through various stages
Yeah,
of hating it, and I'm in the phase at the moment that I definitely hate it because I feel like
yeah,
the medication brings with it new side effects that you then have to take medication for to get rid of,
yeah.
and if you don't take your meds, it's not that bad. It's kind of
No,
bad,
no,
but it
no.
doesn't feel as like if you forget to or you decide you can have a day where you can't be bothered, it doesn't actually make you feel as terrible as you'd expect. And I think that's kind of
Yeah,
weird for me. I kind of find that bizarre because you'd expect the change to be different. And if you're maybe staying at home and you're not kind of having to go out and about, it's manageable. It
yeah.
doesn't feel
Exactly,
great,
which
but
I
it's
do.
manageable.
Yeah,
But it makes you feel quite good that you're not putting all the junk in your body. And once you discover that, it's very
yeah,
difficult to then want to.
yeah. And it is a mess. I mean, I came off antidepressants, but I noticed my mood does swing, so I've had to stay on those. Um, but the general mix of drugs has never been managed well in my
Mm,
case because my Parkinson's nurse kept disappearing.
no, no.
My consultant's good. He just likes to throw drugs at me.
Well, it's very difficult because
So,
the combinations are so different for each person. It's almost like you have to go through a
yeah,
period of trial and error, and it just makes you feel so terrible. I mean, I'm
yeah,
kind of at the point at the moment where they're kind of titrating my medication up and down on different things, and just leaves you all over the place. Your emotions, your kind of chemical imbalance.
I suppose I'm very lucky. I work from home. I'm sitting in front of my computer, designing shows and exhibitions and things. So I don't have to go out of my way to appear normal. But I do notice now not being normal. Obviously,
Yeah.
for me, it's to you, it's chalk and cheese. But in terms of being in a local town, people know me and have seen me go downhill. Very recently, I'm at the point where I'm doing this turning in feet business and almost shuffling. But then, other days it's up and down. And that's another aspect of it, isn't it? I mean, physically, sometimes people say to me, "Oh, no stick, Mike. You good. Yeah, great." And I'm thinking, yeah, no stick, because it hurts too much to hold.
Oh God. Oh no.
So yeah, it's taking the drugs in and then giving off the right sort of. I don't know, just trying to appear normal. It's bloody hard work, isn't it?
It's what I spend most of my life trying to do and failing miserably and just bouncing between different shades of not being normal, when like normal somewhere in the middle, and I'm either like too hyperactive or too stiff or too shaky, or I never really reach that happy point. If you do reach that happy point, it's like I need to go out and do everything. I need to like run around and show people and be like, look, I'm normal.
I don't have the energy. I reach that happy point, and it's normally because there's nothing hurting. So at that point, I think, if I fall asleep now, it'll be good.
Yeah. That's cool. I like that.
I have my afternoon naps. I have my afternoon naps now. I'm normally in bed by 9 p.m. now. I'm absolutely whacked out. Absolutely whacked. So God knows how I'd cope. Oh, yeah, I do a bit of travelling now and then, but not as much as I used to. But yeah, it doesn't stop things. I managed to get to Thailand this spring with my wife and friends.
Good effort.
So I went out there for a few weeks, which was very nice. Just and 2 weekends ago, I took my son up to Old Trafford to watch Brighton play.
Cool.
It's good. It's good to do things. Yeah, it's still doing stuff, and obviously people say you've got to carry on as normal, haven't you?
As much as you can. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, what would you say you're proudest of since your diagnosis? What would you say you've done or kind of achieved, or is it just
I don't think I've achieved
by, or like?
I haven't achieved anything. I've taken up more writing, which has been good. I've been clever about the work I'm doing. I used to work 70 hours a week. You know what it's like, as a freelancer, sat there and
you take what you can get when you can get it, don't you? And then you kind of regret it.
Yeah, and you've got dreadful lead times. People want stuff for tomorrow, and then they pay in 3 months' time.
Exactly.
Dealing with those stresses. So you'll end up taking on more work because those people pay quicker, and you need the money. And it's a bit like being a craftsman of sorts from the old world. Where you sit there and at home working away from home, the cottage industry. But obviously, I'm to a global audience. I work for clients around the world, so I spread my risk at least. I've managed to write more and work less, but work more cleverly, I suppose. Software's helped as well, but I am concerned about next phase with my hands, because that's the biggest connection to my work, is the two mice I use day in, day out, because I'm working in 3D, and how that's going to hang together. These are noticeable things now which I've got to deal with, which is an added thing to take into account for future planning, really.
Is it kind of stiffness in your hand, or do you have a tremor, or?
I've got tremor, stiffness, and rigidity.
The whole
and then
works.
they make lovely clicking sounds as well, which is great. You have to, when you do that, stretch your finger and it clicks and it hurts. So that's what I hate.
It's nothing more annoying than trying to use a mouse for like fine pixel work or something, and your tremor's going, and you're just like, oh, just click over there then, shall I? That's not what I was planning, but adds a new element to every design.
Yeah, I managed to avoid. Because I've been off drugs, I haven't seen any major sort of dyskinesia or anything. I don't know, how much of that is obviously drug related and stuff, but that's my concern, is being able to do fine work, when I'm doing detailed drawing. And obviously, I've looked into eye control stuff. There's stuff out there. It's how applicable it is and how it can integrate with the software I do use is a difficulty. There's no one fit that's all. And trying to explain it to people around you, and I hate telling people look at me and say, hey, you look great, because there's no massive tremor, there's not. And I say, and I don't want to sort of say to them, but I am in so much pain. I hurt.
It's so hard.
And it's hard to, because you're repeating yourself. You don't need to, if they're interested, which is fair enough. I wouldn't be. I'm crap when it comes to living with real people, and that's the biggest struggle at the moment in terms of with family and stuff, as I said earlier, it's how it affects relationships as well, which is a big thing, and how your other half or partner, copes with it. And I'm not the man I was 4 or 5 years ago, and I can feel it, I can see it. I can see it in my face when I look in the mirror, as well as other things. So it's, that's another aspect, isn't it? Be it MS, Parkinson's, or cancer. It's how it affects those people around you as well.
You're still a handsome.
Handsome. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's. Yeah, but I can't dance anymore.
I've never been able to dance, so it's not a skill that sadly I've kind of gained since having Parkinson's. It's just I now have an excuse not to have to dance, which is great. You write really powerful poetry, like writing stuff. You write some really beautiful things that I've loved, and have kind of really resonated with me. Does being able to express yourself creatively help you at all with your Parkinson's?
Yeah, obviously my job I'm meant to be creative, but it's corporate stuff, and very much I find I'd rather do more painting and drawing, which I don't have the time to do. So the writing is great, and the poetry specifically, because it's the format. I do it literally on my phone, and then post it up to WordPress via my phone. So very rarely do I do it from a computer, because I don't get the same sort of spur. So I will be sat anywhere and I'll write. Yesterdays or days before, I was literally sat on the hill. It just sort of pours out this morning in a coffee shop, and it is. It's about everything as much as I can. Obviously, Parkinson's comes into it a lot, and I've on the website I've got a separate Parkinson's section, which God knows how many poems are on that now. But since I started, my original mission was to do one a day, which is not quite there anymore, partly because I've changed my mission on it. It's more to write when I want to, and sometimes I was finding I was writing because I had to, because I had to fulfill my criteria.
You write differently then, don't you? It becomes sort of a different thing. It becomes more of a kind of a chore. You don't write so freely, I think.
But for me, that side is a release. And what have I done? 970 poems are on that website.
Good work.
And it's helped me connect to people. But I am off Facebook and Twitter now, partly because I did this before the whole recent election stuff. But I ended up writing for people to read, and that sounds really odd now. But I write for myself. They happen to be on my website, and so I'm just writing. If people read it and find it great, but I don't want to force it down anyone's throat either. Yeah, that's nice. So it's just there. It's my kids sometimes discover it, and sometimes I don't. And, if I don't, I use it as a way of just saying I'm here, really, because my design work is so transitory. I design stuff overnight, next day it's gone again. But the writing very much is there. So it's there for anyone to read and look at, and copy and steal.
As they inevitably do.
This is the call. Gather those remnants of your strength and stand longer than any other, more than those who may expect less of you, and bring back again to yourselves the small powers that others frame as broken. This is the call to you, the robbed, to recover the fragments only briefly lost. Pull into your own the carers and selves, the latent energy in these long days. You are surrounded by equals in reduction. You are lifted by sisters and brothers of this frail but ever-extending family. This is the call to you, the beaten. Our lives are now surely sweetened. Please find in this inconvenience a greater sense on every level, which is there, I tell you. It is enough to lift each one of us above the rigid rules and freezing. This is a call to you, the pained. Your dignity can be reclaimed. I may be too loud in my ineloquent verse, but I wish for you too such a place of words, to revel in the delight of your voice. Removed from speech, we are still here to rejoice in any format, that connects. This is a call to you, the brave. I've never met so many people I have loved. My day, now half cut by red wine stain, a small triumph in filling the lighter I was given, that Zippo used by my father's stiffer hand, would light the fuse to smoke and relax, knowing that our disconnections connect. This is a call to you, the living. Our disease is a one that is always giving.
Do you remember there was one about you and your taxi drive? Oh, God.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Great one.
I remember that.
You had an awful taxi journey, didn't you? I found it so sad.
Yeah, it was quite sweet of him, but it was just really awkward.
God, I haven't read this wrong this one. She made an Uberman cry only by being her true self. He had to remove his glasses to wipe to dry his tears because he had assumed she was drunk or drugged. It was his mistake. He needed to say sorry. If those tears of a cab driver were pooled or swabbed, could we, the ill, employ such floods to end the pain?
Aww.
There you go.
Beautiful words.
Anyway, look up Emma's Driver on Netflix.
Yeah, thank you. That was really cool. I like that. Summed it up really well. You have a beautiful way with
and I did like that. You know, that's what and that poetry helps me sort of try and understand other people, what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's a good exercise. It's
really
good exercise.
So, what piece of advice would you give to someone who's newly diagnosed? So you're you said 4 or 5 years down the line now.
4 or 5 years, easily, yeah. Well, once you get diagnosis, take a deep breath. Don't panic. Try and explain it to people around you. Try and explain to people things are going to shift and change. Talk to people, other people around you. Don't hold it in.
Yeah.
Workplaces can be good. If it's not a good workplace, then you've got to manage that slightly differently.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. It is your own personal bag of stuff. So no one's going to have the right answer, as we discussed. No one's going to have one answer for you.
Yeah.
It's a case of moulding yourself to it, but not letting it become you. It could be worse. One bit of advice.
It could be worse. Sometimes it feels like it couldn't be worse, but I think if we're honest, it could be worse.
You got to lie to yourself and say it could be worse.
Yeah, a lot of lying to yourself helps. Being able to lie to yourself is quite a good tactic with Parkinson's, because essentially you're trying to outwit your brain. So if you lie to yourself, then you're tricking your brain, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely, and immerse yourself in something else as well. You know, my work. I immerse myself in my work, design work, and that helps because I'm distracted from it. Yeah. For a while, I drove a very fast little car. You know, I was close to death all the time I drove it. Again, forget about it. You know. So you know, it's distractions.
Yeah.
Without losing sight that you've got to manage yourself as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.